Hello there, welcome to Codes, and I'm back again with another video. Well, in this video, we'll be talking about polyfills. Like, what are polyfills? You might have heard about it, or it might popped off somewhere, but in my experience, it's kind of little known feature of JavaScript. Well, I'll say concept of JavaScript, because according to MD and Web Docs of Mozilla, a polygon is a piece of code, usually JavaScript, on the web, used to provide modern functionality on older browsers that do not natively support it. So, what does that mean? Well, whenever you're reading or learning any kind of code or any functionality of JavaScript, there is table, a table of support, like what kind of web browser support it. You can have a look at here, like it is for Promise. In Promise, you can see the Internet Explorer doesn't support it very much. So how can we do that? Like if you want a code to run something that is close to Promise, because we can't it like we can do it, but it would be a very complex thing. But how we can achieve it? Like can we mimic it to like attain something that is close to Promise? So that is what it is called, like polyfill, mimicking a kind of code that is not natively supported. Okay, so we'll be looking into a small short example of what polyfills are. So let's get coding. So here I have my Visual Studio code, and for the code that I'll be demonstrating here will be the map function. We'll be simulating everything. It's not like map function is somewhere not supported. You might look into it. I haven't done that, but that's it. So let's get coding. Now here let's create an array 1 3 4 5 6. I think this will work. Now the map function is something like this. Okay, not concatenate but map function. Now what it does, it takes a callback function with a parameter that is that will be the element that it will be iterating over the array that is it is called upon. Okay, so here now what it does, it returns an array. So what we have to do is we have to store it somewhere. Let's store it inside the array itself. So we are like overwriting itself. And what it does, it gets an expression here. Now it will be like if you want to double the elements, like the value, of course. Now here, and now if I console log the array, it will show 2, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Okay, so now let's check out our code. Now here I'll be doing node and it will be polyfill. Now as you can see, it returns something like this. Let's debug it, and what I'm gonna do is it returns, right? We haven't done that. Now let's do this. I guess it should work. Now as you can see, now we have to return, like if an arrow function returns something, it doesn't get these curly braces. So that was a quite debugging here. Now, what if this map function doesn't exist? Now, how we can simulate that? We can do that by this, like my emmet dot prototype dot map. Now we'll equate it to null. Now if I run it again, it will say the map function doesn't exist. Now as you can see, the array.map is not a function. It's not a function. Okay, so now we have excluded it from a functionality, so it doesn't support. Now the Node.js doesn't support it for this piece of code. Now we have to implement map. How we can do that? The first thing would be uh, equating the map again with a function. Okay, so it will be our first step. The next step will be seeing like what it gets in a parameter. The function gets a callback function, so we'll equate it. So we'll see here a callback function. Okay, now the callback function is called and something is returned. Okay, the callback function is this, which is just returning the element that is given to it and multiplying it with the 2. Okay, so whatever is given into it as a parameter, it will return it with some expression and doing some arithmetics over it. It's on the user. Okay, but what we want to do, we want the map function to return an array. So let's create an ARR array, and this array would be this, or we can just use it as this. Okay, so I'll just comment here the array that we'll be using, that will be called upon, the map will be called upon, will be targeted as this. So I hope you know about this. So it's a prerequisite for this code. Now what we want to do is we want the length of this, so let len equals this dot length, and let again do this. We're going to iterate over this, over every element. Okay, so let I equals 0 till I is less than len and I plus 1. Now what we want to do is this, I equals the function, the callback function. So we will pass the element into this and it will return the element of that particular, doing some arithmetic that the user wants, and it will replace it with the this of what we have called upon, and at the end it will return this. Okay, let's check it out. Does it work or not? Now let's check out this code, shall we? Node polyfills. Now as you can see, previously it was saying like it doesn't uh, like it doesn't work. Now we have implemented it with our own simple method, and so this is one kind of promise. So I hope you got this, and if not, do let me know. So let's check it. Let's do it 3. We should multiply everything with 3 and return an array. Now does it work? Yes, of course it does. Okay, so this is how it works. We have successfully implemented map using private functions and what we have and what's working inside the map. So to implement them, so what I'm saying here is, to implement a polyfill, you have to know the inside working of a JavaScript. So it is a little known functionality, because you don't, like in everyday life, you don't get to know about these kind of, or you don't come across these kind of problems where certain functionality doesn't support, like whichever the users are using for the maximum. Nobody uses Internet Explorer, so we don't have to worry about much of the stuff. But maybe some edge cases there are where you have to use polyfills. Maybe in interview they might ask you to implement something like map functionality if it doesn't exist. For that you have to know what is going under the hood. So that was it, folks. Thank you again for watching. If you like the video, smash that like button, and if you want and content like this, consider subscribing. It's all for free, as you know. And yeah, till then, bye. See you in the next video.